Hello my friends and welcome back. Before I start today's video, I will answer in a few seconds some questions that were asked in the comments section below by some of my friends, subscribers, viewers, and they asked me about my shirts. One of the question was if I change them every time I make a video. Yes, I do, and that is because I respect you. That's the first one. I think it would be boring if I post 2 or 3 videos, let's say a day, show up with the same shirt. That's something that I think I'm doing out of respect, and I think it's boring. And these shirts, the question was where I got them and all that. And these are my regular shirts. They're not my special shirts. I use them where I work. I use them wherever. It's like daytime shirts. I wore other kind of shirts as well, not only this one, button shirts, but that's it. If you have other questions, I will answer them. And thank you for the questions. Here were my answers. Now, today's video. Today's video is regarding I probably should read you the article first, and then I make an analogy. So that's a Reuters article published on April 4th, 2022, and the title is Latest Russia Sovereign Bond Coupon Payments Not Received U.S. Authorization. So Russia has some foreign debt, like any country on this planet, except some of them who did not have, and then their leaders were deposed. One of them was Ceausescu from Romania, for instance. No national debt. And I don't know if Saudi Arabia has any debt or not. There would be unwise for them to have debt, but who knows? I didn't verify that. But I know who has the most debt, the richest country in the world. Anyway, so this thing is, Russia has to pay its debtors, the creditors, the ones that who invested in the country and all that. And their contracts, remember, a contract is a contract, that the Germans were crying regarding the paying for Russian gas in rubles. Now here a contract is not a contract. So the Russians are using certain banks, certain payment methods, certain programs, if you want to call them that way. And then you have a government, in this case United States, who blocks the utility of those banks or electronic transaction sources, like programs like it was the SWIFT and other ones. So this sounds like this. Let's say I have to go, and every month or every few months I have to go to the let's say City Hall here and pay my property taxes. Now you have a due date. You have a date where is the last day when you have to do that. Now in order for me to not be a bad, payer, I go and pay it. Now imagine that I have to drive my car from here to that location, to the building, and let's say today is the due date. I have to go and pay it. So I start driving, and while I'm starting driving, I have the police stopping me and putting roadblocks in front of my car and stopping me and asking me questions and so on. And then by the time I get to the building to pay my taxes, the building is closed. The business is closed. I can't do my payments. And all this was done by the city at the city's order. So I couldn't use the roads because the same guys that wait for my taxes blocked my access to go and make my payment. So here at the States blocks Russia for doing its payments to the creditors using JP Morgan, which they used before. I don't think now the payment went through. Now the thing, they have about 30 days of time to be able to make that payment somehow, and I'm pretty sure they will find other methods, because before this electronic transactions there were many other ways to do it. The problem is The United States government did not sanction the creditors yet, because when, and that's when, not if, when the Russians will be able, obviously, to bypass these roadblocks put up by the city in order for me not to get to pay my taxes, in order for the Russians, for Russia to pay its debt, they will bypass you somehow. I know they're going to take a flying machine, or they're going to start walking, or take a bicycle. Then they will go and they will pressure the creditors that if they accept the money from Russia, then that's a violation of whatever embargo, or something like that. So then they will say, oh, see, Russia defaulted. Because that's, I don't understand this. Because if the Russians are not able to pay because of these technicalities blocked by another government, and the second Russia will not, and I'm not talking about Russia, could be some other country, Iran, North Korea, whatever. I'm giving you these examples just to make it easier to, otherwise I can say, okay, let's say France. And you say, why France? France is a good country. Well, it's not as good as you think, but that's what I'm saying. I'm using the bad countries, if you want to call it that way. So then the minute Russia defaults, guess what's going to happen? The second that happens, all the corporate mass media will be, oh, Russia defaulted, the sanctions work, great, bad pair, great, better, bad country. Yeah, we should not give any loans. The creditors, see what they did? They can't keep a contract. They do this. That's what's going to be. So if the ones who don't follow what's going on here, if Russia defaults because it's not able to pay because of the roadblocks, then you're going to hear the mass media, Russia is bankrupt, Russia, the war was wrong, this, see, Putin must go. Without telling you that in fact was everything set, as I said, technicalities, roadblocks. This is the idea of the default, and the problem is the the Russian ruble bounced back. So they thought it's going to just go down, and that would be the end of the Russian ruble, and it's not. So that's another problem. Now they have all kind of people coming in front of the TV and saying, well, that's temporary. Eventually it's going to go. Well, that's what you said the first day when you impose the taxes. And now we're what, about a month almost in the whole thing or something? And it's still not, it went down and now it bounced back. However they did it, it's still up. And they say, it can't hold like this forever. Well, you said the first day it's going to be bankrupt, it's going to go down. And now all of a sudden it's not. So let me read you what these guys are saying here. New York, April 4th. Russia latest sovereign bond coupon payments have not received authorization by the U.S. Treasury to be processed by correspondent bank J.P. Morgan. A source familiar with the situation said on Monday. The payments were due on bonds. The payments were due on bonds due in 2022 and 2042. I'm reading you what these guys say. Previous coupon payments on sovereign bonds had been processed. I know that because I had another video that I posted. The country has 30-day grace period to make the payment, the source said. Russia has managed to avoid defaulting on its international debt, not because it doesn't have the funds, not because of that, because these guys are blocking them. Despite unprecedented Western sanctions, but the task is getting harder. Yeah, why? I wonder why. Because they're bankrupt? No. And remember when Russia told the Europeans, the great Europeans, that guys, you're going to pay for rubles from now for gas and all that. And what did the German chancellor say? A contract is a contract. Oh my God, a contract is a contract. What about this contract? What about this one? Oh no, this is sanctions. So you give us the how do you call it, the gas and oil and however we want it, and we sanction you however we want. You cannot retaliate in any way because you're the bad dude over here. And the other guy is the same. A contract is a contract, but because we don't like you and we have the power, we're gonna make you default. I don't think that's gonna happen. That's my if they have to go and give them cash in hand with how do you call it, a sweet suitcase, they will do that. If they have to write certain, there are many ways to do it, but whatever. What do I know, right? All right. So it says here that if Russia fails to make any of its upcoming bond payments within the predefined timeframes or pays in rubles where dollars, euros, or another currency is specified, it will constitute a default. The White House and the U.S. Treasury did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Of course, they're like a cat who ate a canary. Not me. Keep looking. Burp. All right, so feathers coming out of the cat's mouth. So if you can't do it right, do it with the referees. The same in a soccer team, football team, whatever. If you can't win, straight, they try to use the referees and the technicalities, and they say, see. All right. Well, nevertheless, thank you for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. We need that. See you later. Ciao.